Got some rain and wind right there on this alert day. This is in effect right now for Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan. As you just heard, strong storms passed through the Toledo area not too long ago.
Yeah, even dealing with a tornado warning at one point, bringing rain, hail, damaging winds. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jeff Smith.
And I'm Melissa Andrews. It sounds like we're not out of the woods just yet. The WTOL 11 weather team is keeping a close eye on yet another round of strong to severe storms later this evening.
Yeah, let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Chris Vickers and Meteorologist John Birchfield, both joining us in studio. So, Chris, let's start with you. Let's talk about the timing of all this.
Yeah, timing's going to be after 8 o'clock for that next round of showers and storms. It could be strong to severe. Now, what we see developing now west of Toledo, not anything that's of concern as far as severe weather. And we can say at this moment, with breath of a little bit of relatively calm conditions due to the fact that we don't have any active severe weather alerts, but many areas are going to be cleaning up after some wind damage or power outages that really blanketed much of northern Ohio and parts of southern Michigan. Last of the severe thunderstorm warnings, and that was allowed to expire right around 5:30, about 30 minutes ago, but some wind damage reported across Erie and back into Ottawa County. How about the Toledo Metro? Many reports of wind damage and trees that were toppled as winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour came through the Toledo Metro. Just a few showers now filling in from Napoleon down toward Malinta, back over toward Grand Rapids. But my attention going to turn to this. It's our next cluster of storms in the atmosphere recharging very quickly, and there are already active severe alerts out there in southwest Michigan. And this cluster of storms expected to expand in its coverage and erupt into a larger complex of storms that will roll then into northwest Ohio. So I have close eyes on this as it taps into some more atmospheric instability and better wind shear. Some of the ingredients still possible for severe weather at this point this evening. The risk this evening will include damaging winds, hail, and an isolated tornado threat sweeping into southern Michigan. Let's break down the timing of all this. We'll send it over to meteorologist John Birchfield. John, this could be late into the evening, perhaps as late as midnight tonight.
Yeah, Chris, we've got about 2 more hours where we're not going to see any severe weather, but then between 8 to 12, that is when those storms are going to reinvigorate. We've seen just a little bit of sunshine and still a very humid setting as this second round moves through between 8 p.m. and 12 a.m. Some of those storms could be strong with gusty winds, and here are those storm threats: 60-mile-per-hour winds as this line of storms races on through. Additionally, could see some large hail that is the size of a nickel to even up to 1 inch in diameter. And the tornado threat is on the lower end of the spectrum, but we have noticed a little bit of broad rotation in southwestern Michigan up towards Kalamazoo. So we'll keep a very close eye on the potential for a brief tornado. Again, a level 3 out of 5 severe weather risk across the lower Great Lakes region, and that includes all of southern Michigan and northwest Ohio. And this second round of storms racing on through. Current motion is at about 60 miles per hour, and a number of storm reports earlier. We'll keep a very close eye on what this second round of storms does and keep you updated with that hour-by-hour forecast. Chris?
Yeah, John, round number 1 certainly got our attention. Round number 2 comes in near or even after dark for many folks.
Yep, still a couple more hours, but we'll keep a close eye on radar.
All right, I'll have that updated full hour-by-hour forecast that John mentioned and a peek toward some heat and humidity toward the end of the work week. That will be coming up in just a little bit. Jeff, back over to you.
All right, Chris, we appreciate it. John as well. Right now, 25,000 people in the dark as far as power is concerned in Lucas County. It's a live look at the outage map that we have provided by Toledo Edison. 6,200 people without power in Monroe County and 3,300 in Lenawee County, where the Lenawee County Fair got closed down today because of that rough weather. It's unclear when we understand teams will have that power restored at this time. Also, Melissa had a great point last half hour. She said, remember, many traffic lights are out right now, so remind family and friends of treating those intersections as four-way stops.
Our Alert Day team coverage continues in Point Place tonight. This area getting hit with another strong storm just about a month after that tornado touchdown, causing widespread damage. Tatiana Cash joins us live from Point Place with more. You've been to a couple locations throughout this storm looking at some tree damage. These are not small trees.
No, Melissa, you're absolutely right. These are not small trees, and I'm actually going to step out of the way because this very large tree fell into, unfortunately, this home right here on the corner. This is Edgewater Park, so it is a private residential area. It's at 148 in Edgewater at the corner. Unfortunately, this corner house hit completely by this tree. The good news is I'm hearing from, as you can see, family and friends are working to get this house kind of covered because, as we mentioned, there are more storms coming. You definitely don't want additional water damage to all of the tree damage, unfortunately, that's happening right now. They say the parents, actually the grandparents who lived here, currently were not home at the time, which is great news in terms of safety, but not so great for the house. Tree is everywhere. It is through the house. There's actually like punctures in the roof because of it. But again, I mentioned this isn't the only house, unfortunately, we've seen today because Point Place just can't seem to take a break. A little bit earlier today, I was at 299 and Ottawa River Road, and unfortunately, that house had a lovely large tree section of it actually fall onto the home. The good news there, when I spoke with neighbors, also not home at the time. That person, that woman, I do believe she was out. They said she was working. So when she had come home after the storm was over and found a lovely gift from Mother Nature, that was just not a fan. So obviously she was working to get those details, kind of call insurance and work with that. And then here where I am currently here at Edgewater Drive is where they're still working, family and friends, trying to get as much as they can off of it. So that way professionals are able to kind of step in and help fix this whole area. But again, this is going to take some time. Unfortunately, Point Place, the sound of hammer and nails, the sound of chainsaws as they cut things up and work together. Not a new sight, but it is a heartwarming sight, especially when it comes to the fact that safety was still key. Unfortunately, not so much when it comes to damage of these houses. So I'll continue to keep an eye out and hopefully fingers crossed that it's always just property damage and not physical damage. But I'll send it back to you in the studio. Tatiana Cash, WTOL 11.
Already making quick work of repairs there in Point Place. Right now we're getting a look at the damage across Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan from you. Take a look at this picture sent in by Luann Pettis. This is on Upton, just south of Berdan in Toledo. You can see that tree came down right on top of the house and just tore into that roof. And we've got video from West Toledo right now. Stacy Villalobos sent us this using our WTOL 11 weather app. She says it's in a yard on Yermo Drive near Alexis and Jackman, and the tree snapped right at that location. And another video here from Alexis Meisner at Berdan and Douglas. She says the lights are out in that area. You can see she got some video of this branch in the middle of the road and then saw a crash right after that because the driver just ran right into the branch in the middle of the road. So yeah, be watching out for things like that, maybe some down power lines as well. This is from City Dotson Chambers. You can see that more trees are down here in West Toledo. Be sure to share your photos with us safely. You may see them there on air, and you can do that right on the WTOL weather app with the submit photo button.
And make sure to have the weather app downloaded onto your phone. You can set up the location, get customized alerts from our team of meteorologists whenever and wherever. You will also have the power of Doppler radar in the palm of your hand so you can watch this stuff move in when it does. And